Hey everyone, welcome to the Squeak Factor. This is your squeaky DJ Serena. Today we have a special guest on the show, Mick James. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Serena?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for being on the air with me today. I know we started talking, what was it, 3 months ago and said, hey, let's maybe try and set something up. So I'm really glad that we had time to finally click and have match times to get together. This is awesome.
Well, yeah, a lot has happened since then, so it worked out perfect.
Exactly. So I've heard your music, and you get a lot of time here on Radio Riff. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm a producer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a live musician, turned actor.
Oh, wow.
And I've just been getting into a lot of stuff. Like my latest project kind of pushed me into the acting end of it when I wrote a movie, and I didn't even realize I was doing so. I was just kind of writing a story and started writing some lyrics and things like that. Next thing I knew, I had a little bit of a script idea and actually get somebody who really writes script involved, and now it's become this whole big thing, and I'm going to star in my own movie as well.
That's very, very awesome. I can relate to the whole writing thing. I, personally have actually been working on writing a book for the past 2 years, and I hope to have it done before the end of the summer. So be there. We're going to get this done, right?
Oh, you got to love it. Yeah, no, definitely. It's really cool. It's a whole different outlet for me now. I mean, it's like, even my next project is going to be like a movie / soundtrack. It's just kind of been part of the fabric at this point. I don't know what's happening. It's just suddenly I'm writing movies and music at the same time, and it's pretty cool.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Okay, I really have to ask you, where did you get the idea for your crazy hair?
Yeah, funny enough, it was when I pictured the character that I pictured him coming up out of the ground, and for whatever reason, the vision in my head was kind of like a Medusa type of look. It just looked like a crazy, snake-looking hair, different than my real hair would be.
Do you have to use a lot of products to get that to stand up straight? I can imagine.
No, not really. It's just kind of tied up a certain way. There's a lot of rubber bands and a lot of. Initially, I was using pipe cleaners and stuff to keep it the way it was, but then it's kind of evolved a little bit as my hair got a little longer.
Right.
And it's tied up a certain way where it actually just kind of stays.
Very fucking cool.
And I sleep on it and wake up, and it's different every day. So there's not any method to the madness. It just gets nuttier and nuttier, and sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks weird. It is what it is, but
for sure,
it's perfect for the character.
There you go.
I've been kind of doing this for the character, and we'll do it until this tour and the movie's done. And,
right. Right.
Unless I come back to visit this particular character, but that's what it is for now, and it's a beautiful thing.
Of course, I personally have a lot of hair myself, and I can't get it to stick out like that, so I had to wonder. I got a lot of hair, man.
I have very straight hair, so if it kind of does anything, wherever I put it, it kind of stays. It's a good thing,
So, okay, everything has been titled Mick James is Dead. I gotta wonder, do you have a death wish?
No, it's just kind of, the story was kind of put together as a working title. Somebody mentioned, why don't you call your project Mick James is Dead? Next thing you know, I started writing the story and the CD and the whole thing. And I really don't. I never thought I'd live this long. I've been in a lot of scripts to death over the years. I thought, quite sure I would have been dead a long time ago, but not at all. It's just kind of like part of the project, and again, like acting out something that is definitely a little weird to think about yourself dead and what would happen if you died, and that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting story. But no, personally, no. I think I'm gonna, unless I get hit by a truck, I'm gonna live a very long life. As both my parents do on both sides. They live in the 90s, so unless I get hit by a truck, I'm gonna be okay.
That's good. That's good. We don't want you dying. We definitely want to see the next project come out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you gotta think of it like when your time is due. Your time is due. Unless you push that issue, it's kind of like I think that people will live their destiny, whatever that just might be. But when it's your time, it's your time. That's why certain things, of course, you don't want to go out of your way to push the envelope. But it's time if you just do things in moderation, I think you'll be okay.
Exactly. Okay, so, I have another question. What was it like being in a body bag?
Well, the body bag thing, the story with that is, when we were filming, or actually doing photos for the initial shoot, which was done, on an embalming table, it was done in a coffin and all those other things. We were in an actual funeral home.
Oh, wow.
And there's a whole backstory to that. And what had happened was, the freaky part of all this is that the funeral home I did it in, I was friends with the people I grew up with them, the funeral owner's kids. So when I'd asked them if I could come in and take photos and stuff and film some things, they were like, yeah, no problem. But the weird thing was, when I was in the coffin in the funeral home, it's the actual funeral home that I will probably 99% likely be brought to when I die.
Right.
So it was very freaky.
I bet.
There, because, you know what I mean? I mean, that was just like, okay, look, this is where we're going to end up, and I'm doing it now. It's like a rehearsal. So,
when you were in the body bag, were you able to breathe? I don't know if I could be in a super enclosed space like that.
I never actually got into it. What happened was, I was on an embalming table.
Okay.
And we were doing photos, and there was a dead body on it, like 15 minutes beforehand.
Oh my gosh.
And they said, do you want to do pictures on the embalming table? I was like, sure, I'll. And they're like, well, we have to clean the body up. And I was like, oh my God, we got on it, and it was creepy as hell. It was freaky. It was seeing all the tools, and I don't know if you think a real embalming table, it's actually tilted, so they drain your blood. There's a or whatever they drain your fluid.
I don't know if when they go to drain me, if I'm gonna have blood. I think it's gonna all be coffee, but that's just a running joke.
Well, yeah, that too. Lots of coffee. But the thing was, there was a body bag, and I almost said, "Oh, you want to get in the body bag? We'll take some pictures." And I was just about to get in it, and it had a name on it. And I looked inside, and it had fluids in it. And then I said, "This is a used one. Do you have a brand new body bag?" And the funeral director said, "Mickey, we don't have body bags here. People come here in body bags."
Oh, goodness.
That's when I didn't get into the body bag, so I never got into it.
Oh, my gosh.
I was just about to get into a used body bag, and thank God I didn't. It was in my underwear for the whole shoot. It was like there was constantly naked laying on this embalming table as it was. So,
Yeah, I can imagine you were a little skeeved out.
It was pretty skeevy, and you see the tools they use and everything. It's just like, oh my God, this is like insane. Really.
And so, like, you said it was 15 minutes after a dead body was in there? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was for the love of the art. That's how much,
I guess.
believe in the project.
Yeah.
And, it was a little creepy and a little, out there to do. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just do this.
There you go.
We got some amazing pictures. I don't know if you saw any of the pictures. They're really amazing.
I did. I do actually follow you on Facebook on both of your pages, Mickey James and Mick James.
Oh, I don't know if I actually posted any of these. Just coffin pictures from the CD cover, back cover, but I don't know if I actually posted any of the embalming table ones yet.
I thought you did. Or maybe I saw it like when I watched something on YouTube. I'm not sure.
It could be. It could be. I'm not sure.
I know. I see a lot of stuff that pops up in my YouTube feed, so I can't automatically like pull it up in my head right now. I mean, if I went and like probably searched, or not YouTube feed, Facebook feed. Sure. There you go. If I went and searched, I bet you I could find it and be like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it was a really, it was interesting, but again, it's all for the love of the project. And
sure.
You gotta be in it. You gotta be in it to,
Exactly. So, do you ever feel like you're tempting fate with everything you've done?
When I was in the coffin, kind of getting a lot of photos taken, and in a suit, and, looking up, and it was very, very weird. It was almost like looking to the sky, saying, like, God, forgive me. I'm not trying to predict the future. I mean, it was a little creepy and a little weird. It was there was moments, like I said, being into the funeral home that I probably will be put in. It was a little creepy and a little, like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
But, again, it was fun. I actually tell you, it was quite comfortable. The coffins are very comfortable, actually.
Okay.
It was the best sleep I'd gotten for a while.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! So I actually have a great question for you. In your holiday rant video, how did you set yourself on fire?
Well, I mean, that was all done graphically, but I mean, the whole thing about the holiday video was, it was very, almost on the edge of offending people in the sense of there was a little rat running around, and, you know, I go to thwack at it, and I missed the rat and kind of hit my foot, and the blood shoots all over me. And
Oh my goodness.
It's, you know, the whole thing was very, what do you say, politically incorrect. And, you know, bottom line is I would never hurt an animal in any way, shape, or form. However, you know, it's like this, people are so big these days with music, and they're so scared to offend anybody. And it was like, you know what? I mean, it's more or less, the whole thing is almost kind of comical in a way. It's kind of sarcastic. And, but it is gory, and it was more about self degradation, or whatever you'd call it, you know, infliction, where I'm lighting myself on fire, I'm hitting myself in the foot with a cleaver, and I'm actually slicing my face. That was a real cleaver, by the way, pushing around. I could have potentially really scarred my face.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, yeah, and, you know, bottom line was, you know, it was just for the love of, oh, what the fuck is he doing? Is he crazy? And it was actually a lot of fun. It was so great to play such a deviant character, if you will. It was just like an anti-Santa Claus, if you will.
I guess so.
It was,
and the hatchet?
Yeah, it was fun. The hatchet was just, like I said, like, it was really real. I mean, it was people think it's like a fake hatchet, and you know, the whole thing. But I was swinging that thing around, and I could have potentially took somebody out or took myself out at that point.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You know, we were very lucky nobody got hurt, not the mouse or anything, or the rat, whatever you want to call it. Only my foot didn't really get sliced in half. It's all good.
So, how does your family feel about all the crazy things you do in your video and all the swearing?
Well, I mean, they both my parents really are very proud of me in the sense of they've always been behind me. They've always been very supportive with everything I do. However, they definitely were not a fan of the swearing all over the CD. And you know, I didn't do it to do it for the sake of doing it. I was really just, that's kind of how I talk, you know, all day. It was just me really expressing my real feelings, and there's a lot of emotions throughout the CD in the sense of it takes you on a journey, and there's a lot of different emotions going through. So it was kind of really just me being me.
Yeah.
You know, just talking the way I normally talk.
Of course. I mean, you are from New York, so, you know, I mean, as I can relate myself, every other word should be say fuck, shit, or damn. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. It really is.
It is. It's the truth. And I can definitely attest to that myself.
Yeah, for sure. And they're definitely not a fan of the seeing me in coffins, and you know, it kind of freaks them out, and all these crazy things that I'm doing, light myself on fire, and all these kind of things. But I mean, at the end of the day, they've been extremely supportive, and been behind me since day one. And you know, I can honestly say that they're my biggest fan, and I feel very fortunate to have their support. You know.
That's awesome. I was actually getting ready to ask you about all that, and like, are they supportive of everything? And you just kind of answered that for me, so that's amazing.
Well, they are, and they're not. I mean, you know, like my mother, the first time she saw my entire sleeve on my arm of tattoos, was not exactly thrilled.
Well, I can imagine.
I'm never going to be the president.
Yeah, I can imagine that no parent would ever be supportive of tattoos and so forth. But, you know, I can say that my father wasn't either. So, you know, you live, you learn. And then they soon to see, like, oh, well, okay, it's art, and they're using a different form of canvas. So there you go.
Sure. And just a side note, my mother does absolutely care in the worst way. She's been complaining about it since day. Oh, you're so good looking when you have your normal hair. I'm like, what? I don't care. It's like, you know, it's all good. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I mean, that's what's part of, you know, not only being art, but being different. I mean, there's so many bands today that they're all the same band, the same, you know, same sound, the same name, the same look. It's just like, you know, I have no aspirations to be that. You know, I want to be me, and so far it's working pretty good. So, you know,
and so
there and all, gotta love it.
So, with your movie, your CD, and stage show, how do they all tie together?
Well, it's all about the same story. I mean, you know, basically it started with the, you know, idea of a CD, calling it Mick James is Dead, and then as I was saying, like, you know, song titles and lyrics and stuff started coming out, and writing a little story, and thought it was really the show and started to realize that I was actually writing a script, like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, they all tie in because they're all going to play out the same way in the sense of if you hear the CD from beginning to end, there's dialogue pieces from the script in between. So you're kind of getting a sense of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very vague sense, but you get a little storyline from beginning to end, going through these different emotions and through the lyrics and the little dialogue pieces. You kind of get a sense of what the movie's about. However, the stage show will reveal a little more of that. It'll be, we're going to be acting out the whole story on stage, but very different than the movie, of course, because stage is live, it's with a band. And then the movie, of course, is going to be featuring all the music.
Right.
So it's all going to be, cross-platforming each other. So
there you go.
Anybody who sees the movie's going to say, I got to have that CD, and see the CD say, I got to see the movie. It's kind of all cross-platforming itself. And the show, by the way, which we're putting together now, we're putting together a live band. It's going to be a very, very cool, theatrical Alice Cooper type of show. It might start very modest at first, depending who I'm playing with and where I'm playing. But as time goes on, it'll get more and more elaborate. And, hopefully at one point we will have a serious, crazy, full-blown theatrical show.
Is that how all the Death Rumors came into play as well? With the title of the show and the title of the CD and everything else?
I'm sorry, say it again. I kind of broke up for a second.
So with the title of your project, is that where the Death Rumors came into play?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a whole big thing that there was, I was dead and I was getting like a million phone calls. Unfortunately, I was out of range. I was way out east. I live on Long Island. I was way out east in New York, and people were like texting me and calling. I had no idea. And as I got closer and closer, I said, "What the hell's going on?" Like, I got like all these messages, like, "What's happening here?" And I start listening. He goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I call my brother. I go, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why is everybody calling me?" And he goes, "Look at your Facebook. Everyone thinks you're dead." And I was like, "Holy shit," And what happened was the title of the CD got leaked out, and people just took it as real. And next thing you know, it was just like this big mess.
Sure.
And, it was a good way. It was a good way to release the CD. It was fine at the end.
There you go.
Of the day. And but it was a little freaky and weird. And it's kind of funny because some people were really affected and crying and freaking out. And you're like, I got a little glimpse of what it would be like if I actually did die. So it's very interesting. But crazy.
Okay, so I have another question. All the special guests on your show, how do they come into play with what the show brings?
Well, I mean, show-wise, we're working on who's going to actually be part of the show. The special guests at this point will be more involved in the movie and the actual CD. Like right now, just on a brief end of things, I was able to get Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses played on a track.
Very nice.
Which just was so amazing to work with. Such a great guy. Tony Harnell from TNT, if you remember them from the 90s, he sang on a song, my newest single, which is called Guess What You're Dead. He sang back and forth with me on that, which was really a thrill because he just took it to another place, another level. Then we had Dave Snake Sabo from Skid Row, which was very much a thrill because I was a big Skid Row fan, and he played on the opening song, Speeding Like a Fiend. I can solo on that, which was really.
I can tell you, I saw Skid Row. I think I saw Skid Row when I was a lot younger, and then recently, as of a couple years ago as well.
Oh, yeah, they're out there. They just did the Donington Festival in England, and it was like 75,000 people. I mean, they're definitely still out there playing a lot. Mm-hmm. Not the original lineup, but for the most, get a bunch of the original guys, and still kicking and killing it.
Absolutely.
And, that was amazing. And then we also had Bobby Ronda, who played drums for me from Black Sabbath to Voice of Calls. He's been in, couple of the Aerosmith when the drummer was out of Scorpions. I mean, he's played in a million bands. He played on 4 tracks, so it was really, really exciting to get him to play on it. And those are just the guys that I got on the CD. I couldn't wait. I had a couple other guys lined up, but it was just taking too long, and I had to get the CD out. However, for the actual soundtrack, I want to get, that's like a mini soundtrack. For the full soundtrack, I want to get more guests, and a lot of these guys, including the ones I mentioned, I'm hoping to get into the movie as well. So the movie is going to be filled with rock and rollers and a bunch of guys I haven't even mentioned because I don't know who's going to actually say yes and who's not. But
sure.
We're trying to get some serious people in there. and it's going to be amazing because once we do appear in the movie, as touring goes on, things get heavy. If things go the way I hope they will. We could potentially start having guests on stage and things like that.
That sounds really awesome.
Mostly like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soundtrack and movie would be one of the guests immediately live on stage. It's just going to be the band and me fronting it, being a singer for the first time in my life. So it's going to be interesting.
It sounds interesting. I'm thoroughly enjoying the fact that we finally got a chance to sit down together today. I really am. Okay, so maybe now it's time to ask you some of the generic snooze interview questions. Oh my God, she's boring.
Okay.
So, when did you know that you wanted to pursue singing?
Be a singer? I just recently, I was a singer when I was a kid, and it wasn't very good. And, I just all these years sang background vocals in a band. And, it got to the point where I was getting a little frustrated because I was doing the Chris Angel music then, stopped working a day job, and that's all I was doing is writing songs for people, other networks as well. And it got to the point where every time I needed a guitar player, it's like I couldn't get anybody to come in because they were working a day job. It was a pain in my ass. So I ended up playing the guitar. Next thing I know, I was playing the keyboards. Next thing I know, I'm playing, all these instruments. I play drums as well. I didn't attempt that on the CD, but next thing I know, I'm singing because I can't get anybody to come in and realize that I have a very unique, different voice. And just when I sang a song on the CD called "I Don't Fight Fair," that was actually written for a TV show, and I had no one to sing it, and I sang it, and everyone who heard it was like, "Wow, you sound really good." And I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll try to sing another one." And I sang another song, and it just kind of worked that way. Every time I heard myself back, I said, "Wow, after all these years of wanting to be a singer, I kind of suddenly sound like all the guys I loved." I don't know how it happened or when it happened, but Alice Cooper or like a Rob Zombie type of voice, really gravelly type of voice. I don't know how and when it happened with me, but it did. And I'm just now it's like I can imagine not being a singer. And on tour, even though I played everything in the CD except for the special guests and drums, I will be more than likely just be singing.
Okay.
And I'll pick up a guitar here and there, but that's really about it. It's going to be more about entertaining the crowd and getting everybody going and taking it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I can just completely understand where you're what what you're getting at. And I'm sorry, I drop a lot of F-bombs, and then when I go to fumble my words, if you've ever tuned into the Squeak Factor before, I can't fucking do a voiceover for shit.
Yeah, it just happens. It's all good.
It does. And I meant to ask you, I know I heard you just mention Chris Angel. How old were you when you got into show business?
Well, I think pretty much my whole family's a show business family, so I've been around it all my life, and I kind of didn't even decide I wanted to be a player until I was about 15 years old. And me and my brother played in bands together, all our lives. And I just never stopped, just kind of, and the whole Chris Angel thing was kind of like a good stepping stone in the sense of, got me out there to the public where people could really hear what I was capable of doing and blended a lot of different styles of music together, which was a lot of fun for me and kind of created a particular sound that I would consider to be like the soundtrack to his fame because I was the guy who was doing his music when he got famous.
Right.
And, I incorporated a bunch of different styles. He was very into the electronic, so he definitely got that happening. I incorporated a whole lot of Middle Eastern stuff and put a whole lot more heavy guitars that he had previous into his stuff. And, it became what it became, and it's really good stuff. I'm really proud of it. There's a lot of people don't realize I've done like over 150 pieces of music for him over the years, all 6 seasons of Mind Freak, including the Mind Freak theme.
Wow.
And, everything for him since then. I mean, it's been all his, not all of it, but a lot of the Vegas stuff. There was a bunch of Circus Slay stuff in there too, but I did a bunch of his Vegas stuff, a bunch of his internet stuff, and some for his new TV show, Believe, as well.
That's just amazing. I'm mind blown by hearing how much you've done over your career. That's wow. You're fucking awesome, dude.
Well, yeah, that's just the tip of it. I mean, since then I've been placing on almost every network. I mean, MTV, VH1, and all the sports shows,
Sure.
and all these things. And, I love doing that. And I'll always write songs for people, even if I become successful as an artist. I'll always be a songwriter and producer. And actually talking with a bunch of people now to write some stuff for some pop people, which would be really amazing. I'd love to. So I hope that's going to pan out.
I think it will. I definitely think it will, because you're driven to get what you want done. So this is going to be a silly question. Would you describe yourself as a starving artist?
Oh, no doubt. I think any true artist, there's many situations where I could have sold out a long time ago in the sense of I've been asked to do a million reality TV shows and things like that, and I could have got money for it, but I just see that as a short, quick kill that's going to kill me in the end run. And definitely a starving artist. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot to be desired, but you know what? You stick to your guns, you keep doing what you're doing, and bottom line at the end of the day is the payoff will come. And we're hoping that with this new venture that we're venturing into now, that it's going to happen that way. And let's keep our fingers crossed.
Hey, my toes and fingers are definitely crossed for you. Definitely my
thank you.
My toes and fingers, man. Do you think, like, when you first started that you would have gotten this far in life as an artist?
Oh, I thought it'd be further a lot sooner. I mean, the truth of the matter is, it's unfortunate. I hate to say it. I've said this in the last interview I actually did, which is very true. I didn't have I wasn't afforded to have a rich father or, rich friends or whatever the case was, in the sense that, a lot of these people who are making it big throughout history have always been, related to somebody in the industry or had a rich dad or, and I mean, they do right up until today. I mean, a lot of the artists that are out there now, from Lady Gaga to, Maroon 5 to so many people. I mean, they're all from rich families that put them in that position.
Sure.
It's a beautiful thing. I'd love to hopefully maybe one day help my son. But, truth of the matter is that I had no help, so it did take me a lot longer with absolutely no help whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And, not a whole lot of support from anybody, really. I mean, I did what I did. I got credit for what I did. And kind of put it out there, and the fans kind of felt that, I was the guy who was doing the music for the Chris Angel show, and without any real promotion or any official promotion, if you will, people kind of found out and latched onto it through Facebook and MySpace and all that kind of stuff. And so it's been a little bit of a longer process, but I think that if this thing takes off like I hope it's gonna, then we could be celebrating then. We're not celebrating now.
There you go. There you go. And, I mean, 5 years from now, we could definitely be celebrating. That's what I was going to say. Because I was just going to ask you, where do you see your musical career 5 years from now? But, hey, 5 years from now, we could be having that big old celebration party and raising our glasses to you, right?
That's true. 5 years from now, I definitely see a whole lot more out there, a whole lot more movies, more
sure.
music, more CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely love to tour, and definitely, hoping that there's going to be a whole lot more touring going on and be living a lot more comfortable at that point in 5 years. No doubt that's where I can definitely see myself.
That's amazing. Well, I know we've chatted for quite a bit of time. I don't want to gnaw your ear off too much longer. Is there anything else you want to add for our listeners?
You know what? I mean, I just feel very blessed. I always thank all my fans and stuff like that, because they've been so amazing between getting tattoos on my name and my logo, and just supporting me and buying my merch, and supporting me morally, and that every time something good happens, they're right there and believing in me. And
right.
I think that that's the most beautiful thing anybody can ever ask for, because without the fans, you're nothing. It's just like to have such great support from so many people who believed in me over the years, even before anything was happening.
Absolutely.
It's just so much sweeter. And I look forward to actually going out there and meeting everybody. When I play, I hope to do some meet and greets and actually meet a lot of these people who've been following me for years and believing in me. And I think that's going to be really cool. So
I think I'm sure even your kids are your biggest fans as well. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
I have 8-year-old twins. They don't necessarily get it yet. They kind of do, but they don't. I don't know if they think I'm cool or not. I think they probably think I'm not.
I can understand where you're coming from on that one. I think my 12-year-old himself, when he realized, hey, My mom and dad are DJs. Yeah, my parents are DJs. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's funny. But,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. They'll get
hope
it.
to, yeah, really need yourself. So I think that, you know, if I start, you know, actually playing, touring in front of nice crowds and stuff like that, I'd love to have them at a real show, and then they can really get a grasp of what's going on, you know?
Right. They will. And then they're going to be like, hey, that's my dad.
Yeah. Let's hope.
They will. Promise you. I promise. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll publicly admit it on the air, on the radio. I promise you that.
It's all good.
All right, folks. You heard it here first. Mick James and Mick James is Dead. Only on the Squeak Factor and only on RadioRef.com. Mick, I want to thank you so much for being here. If you ever want to, in, you know, a year from now, 6 months from now, want to come back on the show, please do let me know. You know how to get a hold of me.
Great. Sounds good. Appreciate it. It was a really fun, and appreciate the time, and looking forward to hearing the final.
Oh, absolutely.